journey to the unknown, to a place that's not.
To me, jazz nowadays means no rules. So if the music comes out more electric sounding, that's fine. If it comes more acoustic sounding, that's fine. So there are a lot of places in the set that is basically acoustic, but I really like to combine the electric and the acoustic instruments at the same time. So Matt, our bass player, he switches from acoustic bass to electric bass a few times during the night, from piano to the Fender Rhodes, voice with no effects and effects, just a regular saxophone, and then EWI, which is a synthesizer that you play as a saxophone. So I like the combination of both without having to be concerned, okay, is this gonna be electric or is this gonna be acoustic? I like the music to flow and to speak for itself. Well, obviously when I moved, everything was new, everything was exciting. There was only hope, you know, in my heart and in my soul that I was gonna be able to do what I wanted to do, which was play music with the best musicians in the world. And now, 25 years later, I can happily say that a lot of those dreams came true, to play with some of my heroes and to be able to do what I do, to make a living playing music, to be involved with incredible people and musicians all the time. And to be a reference point for young drummers and old drummers too. So that's a beautiful thing. Now, of course, it's a different feeling because I've been doing it for such a long time. And now the hardest thing I find is to keep the energy going to do another record and to do another tour. And, you know, of course, we all get older. So the older you get, sometimes it's harder to travel like we travel. Like this tour, we're doing 8 concerts in a row in 8 different cities in, I don't know, like I think 6 countries. So it's difficult, but at the end of the day, when I sit on the drums and we start playing music, then I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is all worth it. So even when we're incredibly tired and hungry and underslept, I still feel very lucky to be able to do this. What has happened with the Pat Metheny group, unfortunately, is that the last time we actually played all together was 2005. So we did a tour in 2002 and then a tour in 2005, which was The Way Up. And that was basically the last record the Pat Metheny group ever did. We did another short tour in 2010 as a quartet, but unfortunately, you know, it kind of stopped after that because I think Lyle Mays didn't want to travel anymore, and Pat started getting interested in doing other projects and stuff like that. So in the beginning, yes, there was some joking about that, but now unfortunately we haven't played in a long time. But with Pat, I've been playing 17 years. So now it's quite a long time. We did a record 2 years ago that is actually quartet plus an orchestra, and I think that is going to come out next year, I think. I'm not sure. I mean, it's been a little confusing with his record deal and how he's going to put out the next record. But the record is beautiful. So I think we're gonna do some stuff in 2020. This year I'm devoting it completely to migration, and then next year I have, you know, some other plans. So it's getting a little harder to play together because when he goes out for a long time, and it's hard for me because I have the TV show and I cannot leave for months at a time. But you know, it's always amazing to play with him, and I feel lucky. I really like the way Sgt. Pepper's came out because to me that was one of my favorite albums when I was growing up, and I used to play along to the album quite a bit. Ringo Starr was my first influence. They asked me to do something with those tracks, and they liked the work that I did on my previous album called Bad Hombre, which I did everything myself. I played drums and I played all the instruments. They liked the sound of that and they asked me if I could do something like that, and it was an honor to be part of it. I was like a mad scientist in the basement of my house, in my home studio in New York, with the guitar and the bass and keyboards and drums. And I love doing that kind of stuff because my only limitation is my imagination. So I was able to work on those tracks for a few days, and because I don't have to pay for a studio, then I have unlimited resources in that way, and that's how that came about. I wanted to pay tribute, of course, to that, so I kind of did the same rhythm, and then I started just adding a bunch of different things on it. I really like well-produced albums. And I think Sgt. Pepper's stands out in history because it was one of the most produced and beautifully accomplished, complex albums at that time. You know, that's why it changed, I think, the way music was recorded, the way music was thought of, and the way music was conceptualized. So now when I do my own records, I like to have a lot of layers and a lot of things going on because that makes you want to listen many, many times, you know, because you can discover many things with each time you listen to it.